Other questions? I have a question myself. I am thinking about this issue. I was thinking about how San Francisco has been a leader in so many ways and over the years on so many issues, whether it's medical marijuana or gay marriage or needle exchange or gun control policies or even not having plastic bags in stores.
Yeah.
And so on so many issues, and on many of those issues, initially, it was San Francisco government officials who really took great risks, including the possibility of criminal prosecution, at least with regard to needle exchange. Took great risks to essentially move forward on behalf of those issues, even knowing that they may be in violation of state or federal law. What do you think is different about this issue that the mayor or the chief has not yet been willing to take action to implement the law? And I know it's a broad question.
Let me put it this way. I can't speak to what their motivations are. I can only speak to what I perceive to be the the risks with respect to the advice that I give. I wish I could sit here and tell you that, you know what, you have to implement the compost amendment and there's no risk whatsoever. I can't ethically do that. I wouldn't be upholding my ethical duty as a lawyer to give fair and impartial advice, even though from a policy perspective, I might agree with that. I have to call it like I see it, and I call it like I see it on the law that's there, and the fact that I already have, we've never had this before, where we had a criminal grand jury already impaneled with respect to looking at practices that we have where we've already spent over $1 million, number one. And number two, you have, irrespective of what I say, they already have independent criminal counsel advising them of what the criminal risks are. So that is a different circumstance than I think we have ever been faced with before, and goes to the issue of why it is an imperative that we all work together to defend the law as much as we can, to make the claim affirmatively if we deem that to be in our best interest, and number three, that we make sure that we push the federal government to make this as less of a priority as they have with medicinal marijuana. So I think that it's that threat of criminal prosecution that is real and not abstract, which is something everybody is aware of, and I can't tell you if there are other reasons that were driving the administration or the juvenile probation not to implement the law, but I'm just giving my opinion as a lawyer. What we're committed to do, I'm sure you're aware and you would agree, that we have made a lot of progress in terms of what our office has been willing to do, and in our conversations, in our meetings in my office just last week, we laid out 3 items which I said that I would live up to, and that was, I thought, at least from the coalition's lawyers' perspective, something that everybody was very happy about. I think that to take it that next step, to make sure that there is some result on the ground in terms of what it was that we said we were willing to do, that's why I, myself, offered to have our office do the trainings to make sure that individual officers, there's no buffer, there's no filter. You hear it directly from lawyers as to what is legally acceptable and required. And I have made that offer, and I'm very happy that the chief has now decided to take me up on that. So in terms of, I'm hopeful that the practical effect with the officers is going to really, hopefully, we're going to see the results that we can contribute. And I have also offered, I know that Angela says there's been a lot of instances. If there are, I want to know about it, because if there's something that we can learn from, and I'd love to see, I think I might have asked someone in the coalition for the, give me the instances. Because I think that it's important that if I have those instances and I can use them in the trainings to make sure that we have specific examples and exemplars of what to do and not do, it's going to make a huge difference.